I recently found myself chatting with a psychologist, let's call her Dr. Lila, who specializes in cognitive behavior and creativity. We met through mutual friends at a dinner party, and what started as casual small talk quickly turned into a deep dive into the psychology of messiness. Dr. Lila had this warm, slightly mischievous smile, like she knew something most people didn't, and she wasted no time jumping into her favorite topic: why messiness is often misunderstood. I can't tell you how many people walk into my office and apologize for how messy their lives feel, she began. They see clutter as a personal failing, but there's so much more to it than that. Intrigued, I asked her to elaborate, and what followed was an hour-long crash course on why messy people might actually have an edge when it comes to intelligence, productivity, and creativity. Let's start with the root of the problem, Dr. Lila said, leaning forward. We've been conditioned to expect our homes, our offices, and even our lives to look like something out of a Pottery Barn catalog. But let me ask you, have you ever seen a catalog spread where people actually live? She had a point. Those impossibly clean rooms, perfectly folded towels, minimalist decor, not a single stray cable, are staged. They're selling you a fantasy, she said. It's a marketing gimmick, not reality. Real life is messy because real life is alive. She pointed to the rise of social media, where influencers curate impossibly tidy, aesthetic lives. It's all designed to make you feel inadequate, but think about it. What happens in those sterile, perfect spaces? Nothing. Creativity doesn't thrive there. It's too rigid. Dr. Lila then cited a fascinating study by Kathleen Vose, a psychologist at the University of Minnesota. In one experiment, participants were placed in either a tidy room or a messy one and asked to come up with creative uses for a ping-pong ball. The people in the messy room generated more unique and original ideas. It's as if the disorder in the environment unlocked a kind of mental flexibility. According to Dr. Lila, messiness fosters creativity because it disrupts patterns. When your environment is a little chaotic, your brain makes connections it otherwise wouldn't. You're not just thinking outside the box, you're thinking outside the entire room. She laughed and added, "It's like Einstein's famously messy desk. If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, then what is an empty desk a sign of?" Dr. Lila also touched on intelligence. Messy people often excel at prioritization, she said. They don't waste time on superficial organization because they're focused on deeper, more meaningful work. Think about it. If you're in the middle of writing a novel, are you going to stop to alphabetize your spice rack? Of course not. She mentioned another study from the University of Groningen, which found that disorderly environments encourage people to break free from tradition and think creatively. It's a hallmark of intelligence, the ability to see beyond the immediate and imagine what could be. One of the most surprising points Dr. Lila made was about productivity. People assume that messiness equals inefficiency, but that's not necessarily true. A lot of messy people have what I call organized chaos. They know exactly where everything is, even if it looks like a disaster to outsiders. She shared a story about a colleague who had papers and books strewn across his office, but could instantly locate any document when needed. It's a system that works for him. Productivity isn't about how tidy your workspace is. It's about how effective you are in that space. Dr. Lila argued that our obsession with cleanliness can be counterproductive. When you spend all your time tidying up, you're not creating, you're not innovating, you're just maintaining this illusion of control. She likened it to perfectionism, which studies have shown can stifle creativity and lead to burnout? Messiness is human. It's a sign that you're engaged with your environment, not detached from it. So, how do we turn the tables on this catalog mentality? Dr. Lila suggested a few strategies. Redefine success. Stop equating cleanliness with virtue. Success isn't about how tidy your life looks. It's about the impact you make. Celebrate chaos. Recognize that messiness can be a sign of productivity and creativity. Embrace it as part of the process. Focus on functionality. Instead of striving for a picture-perfect home or office, create a space that works for you. As our conversation wrapped up, Dr. Lila left me with a thought that stuck with me. Messiness isn't the enemy, she said. It's a sign of life, growth, and engagement. Instead of fighting it, we should learn to work with it. After all, some of the greatest minds in history didn't have clean desks. They had cluttered ones.